Robredo has yet to decide whether to accept Isambayan presidential endorsement.
All is set for the filing of certificate of candidacy tomorrow, while the Philippine National Police leadership orders intensified security measures.
The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee has directed the Senate Sergeant at Arms to locate Family Executive Crisel Grace Mago. Senate releases video of Lincoln Ong to contradict forced claim.
The National Economic Development Authority expresses optimism that Philippine economy will recover despite the rise in number of unemployed Filipinos.
Newly elected Japanese Liberal Democratic leader Fumio Kishida hailed as a good guy.
And experts suggest that common painkillers be investigated over possible risks to developing fetus.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, September 30th, 2021. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo. First in the news, the Isambayan political group is hopeful that Vice President Leni Robredo would accept their endorsement to run as presidential candidate in the upcoming 2022 election. Dante Amento tells us why.
The Isambayan group has formally endorsed today Vice President Leni Robredo as their presidential bet in the coming 2022 elections. They have chosen Robredo based on her integrity, track record, and patriotism. In a statement, the Vice President expressed gratitude for the group's nomination and trust. But as of this time, she is still undecided whether to seek a higher position, though she asks for prayers from everyone for her to make the best decision. Despite this, Isambayan lead convener and former Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Carpio believes Robredo would accept the challenge.
We expect to meet with her and explain to her why we have chosen her. And we hope that she will accept the challenge. If she declines, we will meet again. But that's for us, that should be a remote possibility, because she already said that she's willing to save the country from plunder, from dictatorship. She's willing to accept the challenge.
Former Justice Carpio added if VP Robredo will accept the endorsement, she will lead the selection process of candidates to complete their unified national ticket. For now, Isambayan is yet to release names of their vice presidential and senatorial candidates. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, all is set for the filing of certificate of candidacy tomorrow. The Philippine National Police assures security measures are already in place at the venue. Leah Ilagan details why.
Around 3,000 policemen will be deployed in and around the 10th city in Sofitel as filing of certificate of candidacy starts tomorrow. National Capital Region Police Office Chief Police Major General Vicente Danao Jr. said a no-fly zone and no fishing zone will be implemented around the hotel from 12 Friday midnight October 1st until 12:01 October 9. Meanwhile, Philippine National Police Chief Police General Guillermo Eleazar has directed the local police to intensify their security measures to assure the safety of the candidates as well as the COMELEC personnel.
Inatasan ko na ang lahat ng regional directors na magsagawa ng mga target hardening measures at security adjustments sa kanilang areas of responsibility, lalo na at mag-uumpisa na ang filing of Certificate of Candidacy kung saan maaring tumaas ang bilang ng election-related violent incidents.
He also ordered the intensified campaign against the illegal fundraising activity of some politicians.
Kasabay ng mga paghandang ito ang direktiba sa lahat ng mga chiefs of police na mahigpit na bantayan ang mga bangko at iba pang mga financial districts dahil hindi natin inaalis ang posibilidad na mag-uumpisa ng gumalaw ang mga sindikato at private armed groups para makalikom ng pondo na maaaring gamitin ng kanilang manok sa darating na halalan.
The Philippine National Police commits to protect and defend the electoral process in the country. This is the reason behind General Eliasar's intention to deploy the Special Action Force in areas considered as election hotspots. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
President Rodrigo Duterte remains focused on his job amid his imminent vice presidential bid. Malacanang, meanwhile, clarified that there is no need for cabinet members to file a resignation if they plan to run for any position in the 2022 national elections. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque is clueless as to when President Rodrigo Duterte will file his certificate of candidacy. As of now, the president is busy performing his mandate as the chief executive.
Tuloy-tuloy naman po ang trabaho, work as usual po. Mamayang gabi po magkakaroon ng talk to the people. Bagamat talaga pong napakadaming mga meeting at karamihan ay political ang pinag-uusapan ng presidente itong mga nakalipas na araw.
Meanwhile, Secretary Roque clarified that a cabinet member who files for candidacy is already considered and deemed resigned.
Ang paghahain naman po ng Certificate of Candidacy will have the effect of resignation. Okay? So, hindi na po kinakailangan mag-resign kapag naghain ng Certificate of Candidacy. At ang aking inuulit-ulit po, hindi po ibig sabihin na palibasa mawawala ang sekretaryo, magkakaroon na po ng leadership vacuum kasi palagi po yung merong OIC.
As of now, none from the cabinet has publicly expressed intent to run in the 2022 elections. But President Duterte earlier urged Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Secretary Salvador Panelo, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade, and Public Works and Highway Secretary Mark Villar to run for senator. When asked if he will vie for a Senate position, Secretary Roque said we just have to wait for October 8, the last day of COC filing. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A lawmaker questioned the increase in the budget of the Office of the President for traveling expenses for next year. Nel Marie Buhok will tell us why.
ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro wants to go into the details on the traveling expenses of the Office of the President. According to the lawmaker, there is a substantial increase in the travel funds amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
So pwede po bang mabigyan tayo ng konting paglilinaw dito sa pagtaas ng traveling expenses ng opisina ng Presidente?
According to Zamboanga del Norte Representative Romeo Halosos Jr., the President's office reasoned out that they plan to push through with the trips that had been canceled due to COVID restrictions.
Ang plan na po kasi baka mag-open up na po ang ekonomiya natin sa ating mundo. So we have to put additional funds amounting to 10% from this year so that we can maximize the opening of our economy.
The Makabayan Bloc lawmakers also questioned the 4.5 billion pesos for the Confidential and Intelligence Fund of the OP. The Office of the President is proposing 8.2 billion pesos budget for next year. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Formerly Executive Crizel Grace Mago, who admitted that their company swindled the government, was a no-show in today's Senate Blue Ribbon hearing, sparking concerns from some legislators. Meanwhile, the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms releases a video of formerly Director Lincoln Ong after his lawyer claimed he was physically forced to attend the hearings despite their formal request to not participate. Arlene Delgado will tell us why.
Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairperson Richard Gordon has directed the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms to locate formerly Regulatory Affairs Head Crizel Grace Mago after she did not show up in today's hearing. When asked about her whereabouts, formerly Corporate Secretary and Treasurer Mohit Dargani says he last spoke to Mago the morning of September 25.
Very concerning po iyon at binibigyang diin yung importansya nung protective custody that the Senate has offered through the chairman and which the Senate President has confirmed he is prepared to extend.
Meanwhile, the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms released a video showing formerly Director Lincoln Ong being escorted from his detention room to a committee room to attend the hearing virtually. This comes after Ong's counsel, Attorney Ferdinand Topacio, said in a tweet that his client was being physically forced to be present in the proceeding despite their request not to participate in the hearing. Meanwhile, the witness of Senator Risa Hontiveros has denied the allegation of another alleged formerly warehouse staff that he was bribed to testify and spew lies before the committee. The lawyer of the senator's office, Attorney J. Bakema, who was accused of bribery by the formerly's witness, also denied the allegation.
Pinilit ka ba namin or binayaran para magsinungaling or para magsabi na labag sa iyong kalooban?
Hindi po ma'am, pusang loob ko pong sinabi po sa inyo. Tapos wala naman po akong bayad na hiningi po sa inyo. Opo ma'am, ako po yung unang na email sa page po ni Senator Risa Hontiveros po para po humingi ng tulong po, parang ganun po.
Hontiveros maintains their office has never bribed any of their witnesses. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Over 3.88 million Filipinos were unemployed in August amid the strict lockdowns, according to the latest data of the National Statistics Authority. Meanwhile, National Economic Development Authority believes that the Philippine economy will recover this year following the implementation of alert-level systems with granular lockdowns. Janice Inhente details why.
The National Economic Development Authority expressed optimism that the Philippine economy will recover this year. NEDA is confident that the alert level system will be effective in slowing down the spread of the virus for Filipinos to be able to return to work. This as the country's unemployment rate went up to 8.1% in August from 6.9% in July, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority. From 3.07 million unemployed Filipinos in July, it has increased to 3.88 million last month.
Ang nakikita talaga natin, at ito'y pinapakita ng datos na nakuha natin simula pa 2020, pag mayroon talagang ECQ ang affected ay yung unemployment rate.
Yung ating risk management strategy ay gumagana. Ibig sabihin, while we were in some form of heightened quarantine, we allow the majority of workers to operate or to go back to work. Tuloy po yung ating public transport. Yung mga pinagbawalan lang natin ay yung mga nasa closed spaces, crowds, at close contact areas. So yan po ang dahilan kung bakit bumabalik yung trabaho at gumaganda po yung ang ating underemployment rate. Kaya po natin na maibalik yung paglago ng ating ekonomiya to 4 to 5% this year and 7 to 9% next year.
The Interagency Task Force is expected to announce whether to retain or downgrade the alert level system imposed in Metro Manila. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And in other news, the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines Incorporated, or PHAPI, still awaits for payments of claims from the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, or PhilHealth. Aiko Miguel will tell us why live. Yes, Aiko, good evening. Has PhilHealth responded to this issue already?
Yes, William, good evening. The Philippine Health Insurance Corporation has yet to respond to the threats of the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines Incorporated, or PHAPI, that they would cut ties with the state-run health insurer. This is over the issue of unpaid hospital claims amounting to 21.1 billion pesos. In a joint statement last August 21, hospitals and doctor organizations issued a joint statement that they would disengage from the state-run health insurer. Despite PhilHealth's commitment, many hospitals are still waiting for their compensation, much to their dismay. PHAPI President Dr. Jose de Grano could not contain his disappointment over the issue.
Right now, the private hospitals are bleeding, to the point of exsanguination. Mauubos na ang resources ng hospital. Ang isang moderate case ng COVID, alam mo ang equivalent na isang moderate case ng COVID is 7 cesarean sections, Talagang wala pa ring substantial or concrete solution na nai-offer ang PhilHealth dun sa sinabi namin na mga hinihiling naming reimbursement for the past year or more.
William Dr. De Grano added, last week, 7 big hospitals in Iloilo City have sent a letter to PhilHealth and the Department of Health through their local government stating their intent to disengage from PhilHealth.
They are saying na until the end of October at hindi nila makuha yung hinihingi nila sa kanila ng mga around 545 million na reimbursement for the 7 big hospitals in Iloilo City, then they have no choice but to disengage or not renew their accreditation with PhilHealth starting January of 2022.
William, when hospitals disengage from PhilHealth, patients will have to pay for their medical bills in full, and they will have to directly file their claims to PhilHealth for reimbursement. However, PHAPI assured the public that private hospitals will continue to accommodate PhilHealth member patients, while contracts with the state health insurer are still in effect until December 2021. And that is the latest live. Back to you, William.
Yes, thank you very much. Aiko Miguel reporting live. Meanwhile, the Philippines' nationwide tally of COVID-19 infections rose to 2,549,966 after the Department of Health, or DOH, reported an additional 14,286 cases today. In its bulletin, the DOH said that the latest figure raised the country's active cases to 138,294. Of this number, 77.7% are mild, 15.8% are asymptomatic, 3.72% are moderate, 2% are severe, and 0.9% are in critical condition. Total recoveries climbed to 2,373,378 after 8,268 more patients survived the disease. The DOH also reported 130 new fatalities, pushing the death toll to 38,294. Meanwhile, the overall global COVID-19 caseload has reached 233,312,543, while the deaths have surged to 4,775,456, according to the Johns Hopkins University. The United States is still the worst-hit country with the highest number of cases and deaths at 43,350,990 and 695,123 respectively, according to the CSSE. India follows with 33,739,980 cases and 448,062 deaths. In terms of deaths, Brazil comes second with 596,122 fatalities and 21,399,546 cases. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, will be implementing some changes in campaigning for the incoming 2022 national and local elections. Dante Amento tells us why live. Yes, Dante, good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, William, good evening. The Commission on Elections is currently finalizing its new normal manual for the safe conduct of the 2022 elections. These include guidelines for campaigning starting on February 2022. E-rallies and live streams will serve as an alternative way of campaigning these elections. COMELEC Education and Information Department will provide the platform for free live streaming of national candidates. Door-to-door campaigning will be also allowed with a maximum of 5 individuals and in-person rallies for a maximum of 3 candidates at a time. But some salons have made some recommendations for adjustment.
Ang sinasabi nila doon sa proposed rules nila, 3 kandidato lamang sa in-person campaign rally.
Okay. Sa rally na to.
Kandidato lamang ang pwedeng magsalita sa isang campaign rally na ang audience is only 10% of the capacity of the place. Paano yung mga line-up? Hindi makakapagsalita, magseset na naman ng another night for 3 persons.
COMELEC assures to consider some inputs from stakeholders. Meanwhile, COMELEC clarifies they are not requiring a negative RT-PCR or antigen test for local aspirant candidates during the filing of the certificate of candidacy, but they are only allowed to have a maximum of 2 companions to avoid congestion in COMELEC offices or in areas of filing.
Antigen testing po natin ay required for national candidates, but it's not required for local candidates. So for local candidates, kailangan magpakita ng antigen test.
William District representatives down to Sangguniang Bayan members are considered local candidates. And that's the latest live. Back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Dante Amento, for that live report. Meanwhile, local governments in Metro Manila are already preparing different schemes for the pilot inoculation of minors aged 12 to 17 against COVID-19. JP Nunez tells us why.
3,000 minors have already registered for the COVID-19 vaccination program of San Juan City. As of now, they are in the process of accounting the vaccines needed for this group.
Sa kabanayan po, bukas na po ang ating vaccine registration portal para sa pagpaparehistro o pagpapalista po sa mga kabataan. Nakahanda na po kami, nakareserva na rin po, may mga hinahanda na rin po kami mga bakuna na Pfizer at Moderna sapagkat yun po ang pinapayagan ang may EUA sa ngayon. Kaya yun lamang po ang ating hinanda para sa kanila.
On the other hand, Parañaque City plans to assign more schools to serve as vaccination site exclusive for minors. Special task force has also been formed to process the online registration, which now totals to around 6,000.
So magre-registro sila. Pagkatapos, we decided na yung ating gagawing vaccination ay hindi natin sila isasama sa adults. Ang gagawin ng city, talagang meron silang vaccination center exclusive for students. Ito yung mga i-identified na DepEd ng mga school. So kung ikaw ay naka-enroll diyan ka magpapabakuna. Both public and private school. Kasama po yan. Ngayon, pagka ikaw naman ay out of school youth, designated vaccination center mo, health center, kung saan ka nakatira. So, ganun po magiging scheme.
Meanwhile, the municipality of Pateros used a QR code exclusive for children wanting to get vaccinated. Mayor Ike Ponce said 25% of targeted 11,000 children aged 12 to 17 registered for the vaccination.
So, umpisa siyempre ay medyo mabagal. At hanggang sa ngayon ay naghihikayat pa rin tayo na magpa-register sila para maayos na nga natin ang mas maganda yung matansya natin, yung dami ng pila na magpapabakuna. Pero sabi ko nga, I'm very confident na once na nag-start tayo ng rollout nito ay talagang dadami at kaya naming maabot yung buong populasyon na tinatarget natin pagdating sa 12 to 17.
Vaccine SAR Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. says vaccinating children will pilot in 5 hospitals in National Capital Region on October 15. This includes Philippine General Hospital, Heart Center of the Philippines, and National Children's Hospital. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana reveals that China opposed the plan to review the 70-year-old defense treaty between the Philippines and United States. This treaty binds the U.S. to defend the Philippines, including the West Philippine Sea, from aggression. Lorenzana told in one of the virtual forums that the U.S. welcomes the idea of revisiting the agreement, but a former Chinese ambassador, whom he did not identify, allegedly came to him and asked to leave it as it is. The government pushes the construction of Pasig River Expressway to start in 2022, but multi-sectoral groups launched a petition to stop the project. Asher Kadapan Jr. explains why.
At least 100 civil society organizations and 3,000 individuals have signed a petition to stop the Pasig River Expressway project. PAREX is a 19-kilometer elevated road traversing Pasig River, which aims to connect eastern and western portion of Metro Manila. Being led by the Move as One coalition comprising of Filipino organizations and individuals advocating for a safer, more humane, and more inclusive public transportation system in the country. The multi-sectoral group explains that the project would rather cause negative effect against different aspects.
Tutol kami sa PAREX dahil una, hindi maganda magiging epekto nito sa ating kapaligiran. Pangalawa, masisira o mahaharang ang kakarampot na natitirang bakas ng ating kasaysayan sa baybayin ng ilog. At pangatlo, dahil hindi nito malulutas ang problema ng traffic, magpus lalo pa nitong mapapalala ang sitwasyon.
PAREX is an infrastructure project between the government and San Miguel Corporation. In a statement, SMC President and CEO Ramon Ang clarifies that PAREX will not cover the Pasig River because it will be built along the banks of the river and not in the middle. The SMC also said they will be deploying their own resources to clean up and rehabilitate the Pasig River. But the Move as One coalition does not agree with the SMC.
Kahit sa bahagi po kayo ng Pasig River tumingin ngayon, wala pong space sa baybay. So talagang nasa ibabaw ng river po yon, ano? 6 na lanes, okay? Mapasa gitna, mapasa kaliwa, mapasa kanan, may bahagi po ng ilog talaga na matatakpan.
Greenpeace Philippines also explains that there will be a significant effect in the river's ecosystem if construction will be done in any portion of it.
Anything that you do doon, may epekto yun sa kanyang function. Yung function niya na magdala ng flash floods, mag-drain ng mga floods. So pag may bagyo or may ulan.
Despite the oppositions, President Rodrigo Duterte is expected to sign the agreement for the construction of the 95 billion peso project as a lawmaker confirms the compliance of the SMC with all the corresponding requirements for the project. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, the new Japanese Liberal Democratic Party leader Fumio Kishida was hailed as a good guy after winning the second round of votes over another candidate, Taro Kono. Paul Gatchalian will tell us why live. Good evening, Paul.
Look at Fumio Kishida's past experience with domestic and foreign affairs will make him a good leader. Taro Aso said, who has been Deputy Prime Minister of Japan and Minister of Finance since 2012, said it was good that a good guy was elected. Meanwhile, China proceeds to welcome Kishida as Japan's new leader for the governing Liberal Democrats with caution during a period of tension between Japan and China due to historical grievances and uninhabited islands in the East China Sea. Despite this, China is willing to work together with the new Japanese leading team to encourage healthy Sino-Japanese relations. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hua Chuanying said, additionally, Kishida also confirmed this earlier this month when he affirmed the significance of hosting summits with Chinese officials to maintain a stable relationship between the two countries. Kat?
Paul, what is Fumio Kishida aiming to bring to Japan as the newly elected Prime Minister?
Well, Kat, as Prime Minister, Kishida is aiming to increase defense systems in Japan and also create more stronger security ties with the U.S. and other partners like Australia, India, and China. He also wants to strengthen the Coast Guard of Japan and observe human rights situation of the Uyghur minority and their mistreatment in China. Back to you, Kat.
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, for that live report. Experts have suggested that common painkillers be investigated over possible risks to developing fetuses. RK Liorca tells us why live. Good evening, RK.
Good evening, Kath. Long-term use of paracetamol or APAP might alter fetal development among pregnant women. A group of scientists released a statement urging the healthcare community to carefully consider paracetamol until the painkiller is thoroughly investigated. Pediatrician Leonardo Trasande, Director of Environmental Pediatrics at NYU Langone Health, said that although further research is needed to understand the mechanisms, substantial evidence at the very least already suggests that paracetamol is hazardous for the fetus. Previous studies have found similar chemical structure between paracetamol and a group of synthetic chemicals called phthalates when they break down. Phthalates are found in hundreds of auto, home, food, and personal care items. Meanwhile, David Christensen, an associate professor of cell biology and physiology at the University of Copenhagen, said that 50% of women worldwide are using APAP during their pregnancies. He said many of these women had not considered paracetamol as a true medication that could have potential side effects, and it is those women they are trying to reach. Back to you, Kat.
Thank you, RK Liorca, reporting live. The long-term Special Tourist Visa or STV in Thailand has been extended until September 2022. This is an attempt to revive the tourism sector of the country. The Thai government initially approved the STV program October last year, and today was supposed to be the last day. Over the past year, the Tourism and Sports Ministry recorded 5,609 visitors to Thailand from countries such as China, Hong Kong, and Singapore under the STV program. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I'm Kat Dumaraos, live from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. It says, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose."
And those are the reasons behind the news. September 30, 2021. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
We expect to meet with her and explain to her why we have chosen her. And we hope that she will accept the challenge.
Inatasan ko na ang lahat ng regional directors na magsagawa ng mga target hardening measures at security adjustments sa kanilang areas of responsibility, lalo na at mag-uumpisa na ang filing of Certificate of Candidacy kung saan maaring tumaas ang bilang ng election-related violent incidents.
Pusang loob ko pong sinabi po sa inyo. Tapos wala naman po akong bayad na hiningi po sa inyo. Ako po ma'am, ako po yung unang email sa page po ni Senator Risa Ontiveros po para po humingi ng tulong po.